This is Advertising 3361. We're going to learn about design and branding in this class. And the main focus is going to be working on the software that Adobe has, Photoshop, Illustrator, and InDesign. Those are the main ones that people who are designers in advertising use. It's the industry standard for graphic artists. A little bit about myself. There's a little bit about me on Blackboard, just the normal stuff. But I have over 45 years of experience as a graphic artist. I started out in the art department, the graphic design department. And believe me, I'm old enough that we weren't using computers then. So we would paint things to make our graphics, and it was really crazy. We have it so good now. I would never go back to the old days. It was harder, and it was much more exclusive, because if you couldn't paint and draw, you couldn't be a graphic artist. But nowadays, it's a more open thing so that more people can get in on the fun, and it really is a lot of fun. Hi. So anyway, let me see if I can get to the next thing here. Okay, maybe I have to use that. Yes, we do. Okay. So there I am. And just call me Janice. I don't, you could, if you feel more comfortable calling me Miss Wooten or something like that, that's fine. But really, I prefer Janice because we're in this together. Because as we go through it, you may learn something that I don't know. And I want you to share it with me because there are gazillions of ways to do these things. And I want to hear what you find out that works good for you. So I'm wanting to share my experience with you guys because what I was taught when I was in school was nothing like the real world. So if you're thinking about being in advertising and maybe working with a graphic artist or being a graphic artist yourself, it's better to kind of have an idea of what you're walking into, kind of have some ideas. So that's what I'm going to try and do. As far as my office hours, I'm an adjunct professor, which means that I'm part-time. So I don't have an office space here in this office, in this building. So what I'd like to do is set up Zoom meetings, or I can meet with you at a coffee shop, or I can meet with you here in the building at one of the lounge areas, whatever you want, whatever works for you. But really, if we can handle it through text, I would love that better. So you can text my phone, and there's my number right there. You're going to see it on the syllabus. You're going to see it on all of these decks, everything. I'm trying to really make sure you've got my information. You can email me anytime, but try and text only between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. so that I can sleep, so I can get up in time to be here. And thank you guys for being here, by the way. 9:30 is very early. And we can make a Zoom if you want. We can meet however, but I just don't have an office that you can walk into, is basically the bottom line of that. So what are we going to cover? I've already told you about the software training, and that's going to be really fun. I hope that I can make it fun enough for you to really want to continue and learn more things. But we're also going to learn some about strategy and layout. That means the design, the placement of things on the page or on the screen that's going to either turn somebody off or get them to go farther into what you're trying to show and advertise. We're going to learn about typography. How many of you have a favorite font? What's your favorite font? Times New Roman. Okay, you're very professional. I bet you like statistics and stuff, don't you? You do? No, neither do I. But yeah, we're going to learn about all different kinds of fonts and how we can use them in the best way possible. No Comic Sans, just to let you know. Don't like that font. And I'm also going to talk about production in various mediums. I am a print designer. I started out as a print designer. I still love designing for print, which means like on paper or on shirts or on billboards or, anything that's on an actual surface that you can touch. But we're also going to I'll show you how you can use those images and those graphics that you create to turn it into something that can be put online. Now, this is not a web design class. We're not going to get into that. There are other outlets for that. But I'll show you how you can make graphics that can be projected on a screen. Okay, so Anyway, I've already told you all that. I tend to not go by notes, so it could be, we may get off on a tangent. So those are the three softwares that we're going to learn. We're going to start off with Photoshop. It's probably the favorite of everybody because it's something you've probably dabbled with that has some, either you've dabbled with Photoshop or there's some Photoshop-like software that you've used. So you probably will feel really at home in that. Then we're going to start into Illustrator, which probably most people will find a little more difficult, but when the light comes on, you're going to love Illustrator. And then we're going to do InDesign, which is where you take what you've done in Photoshop and what you've done in Illustrator, and you put them with your text in one place that gets you ready to print them. We're also going to use some apps on our phone. This class, you do not have to put your phone up. If I see a phone in your hand, I'm thinking, great, they're doing some design and some thinking and some search. I do a lot of searching on my phone. I take a lot of photographs with my phone and I use it in my design. You've got an incredible source here. So don't think you have to put your phone away because you absolutely should always have it real handy. Okay. Okay, come on. Oh, I do need to talk about that. How many of you are going to work with your own computer? Okay, it looks like a pretty good amount of you. So have you already got the subscription downloaded on your computer? Okay. Now, I'm not going to go into huge detail, but this software is like, it's a RAM hog. It really is. It's going to take up a lot of space on your computer. It may take up a lot of it may take off the speed. Like if I have a tendency to work with all three open at the same time. On your computers, if it's 2 or 3 years old or a PC, it may not be able to handle that. So just to let you know, you do have these computers in here that you can use. The software is already loaded on there. So if maybe you felt like that $21 or whatever it would be a month is a little more than your budget can allow, use these computers. And then whenever you get really serious about it, then you can get your subscription. But if you're going to get one while you're a student, because that same one costs about $60 or $70 for anybody off campus. So it's really a bargain, but at the same time, you might want to try it before you invest. Make sense? Okay. Speaking of these computers, one of the bad things about it is that when you turn it off, you can work and save something on the desktop, turn it off, and it wipes it clean. It won't be there when you get back. They've got them set up so nothing saves on the hard drive. Now you can save on a cloud. You can save on a thumb drive, but it won't save on the computer. So if you keep all your work and you're about to turn in your final project and you turn the computer off and you come back, it's not going to be there. So just so you'll be warned. But I have done something that I'm not going to hand them out today. We'll wait until we start Photoshop. But I have purchased enough thumb drives for all of you. I think it's either 16 or 32 gigs. So that's more than you would be able to have if you had a Google Drive that you weren't paying for. So these thumb drives are going to be for you to keep. You don't have to turn them back in at the end of the class, but be sure to keep up with them during the class because it's just one. I'm just going to give you one. Okay. So, and the book, I don't even think I have. Nope, I don't even have it on there. There was a book listed as a suggested or recommended. And if you're a graphic artist, by all means, buy all the graphic art books you can. But for the rest of you who are not going to be graphic artists, don't worry, we're going to cover it in class. So you don't have to buy that book either. Okay. Let's see. The next thing, if I can get it to go. Come on. Oh, okay. Here we go. The syllabus. And I'm not gonna go off of that because I don't know what that's gonna do to my video. Well, if y'all will bear with me just a second, I am doing this video that's gonna I'm gonna end the show and then I'm going to open up. I'm just going to open it up in InDesign. Y'all can get to see. I do everything in InDesign that most people would do in Word. That's how much I like it. It's such a beautiful program. If it will open up. Okay. Yes, here it is. And now I'm going to need to make sure that I'm sharing the right screen. And it looks like it's working. Share. Okay, so this is the syllabus. There's a copy of it in Blackboard. You can use that. As a matter of fact, well, no, I'm not going to go back to that. There is a QR code you can use. So it's kind of a basic, ordinary syllabus. I'm not going to go through it really super a lot, but I do want to touch on some things. Okay, there's my information again, so that if you need to get a hold of me, you can. I want to talk about artificial intelligence for a second. If I can get this thing to move out of the way, which is part of artificial intelligence. That's the reason that I'm going to really talk a lot about artificial intelligence, because these softwares have a lot of built-in artificial intelligence. Actually, we've been using artificial intelligence a lot longer than you realize, because really all artificial intelligence is a very sophisticated algorithm. I never can say that. That's a math term. So there's a big debate going on, and we'll talk more about this on Tuesday. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but in my class, they gave us different choices of different things we could rule on in our class, and I chose that you can use artificial intelligence in this class. The only thing I want you to do is to make sure you're totally transparent, that if you make a graphic for one of the projects with artificial intelligence, that you list underneath that graphic created with AI in whatever program, in Photoshop, Illustrator, or whatever. So all I want you to do is to be totally straightforward. I don't want you to do artificial intelligence and then try to pawn it off as your own work. That isn't going to work, because it's kind of obvious whenever it's artificial intelligence. So this is going to be like, just think like you were doing a research paper for English back whenever you were in those English classes, and you wanted to give some weight to your paper that you're writing, and you would look up something that maybe Einstein said, or somebody really smart that was in the topic that you were writing about, and you put something that they said into your paper. Your teacher would make you cite that work so that everyone would know that, yes, this was said, and yes, you agree with this, but those are not your words. You're giving credit to whoever said that first. Does that make sense? So you're just giving credit to the artificial intelligence that's swirling around in the clouds up there, that's where you got it. Does that make sense? Is that fair? And we're really not going to have any opportunity to do chat GPT or whatever it is, those things where they write for you in here. We're not going to do that much writing in here. You have an opportunity to write a little bit, but basically we're not going to be doing a lot. So I don't even care about that. All I care about us in this class is the artificial intelligence that's in our software. So with that being said, I'm going to go on. I don't want to belabor the point. Oops. All right. So I'm going to talk about some of the other policies. This is a very early class. 9:30 is probably about as early as any of you have ever taken, correct? Have you ever taken a class earlier than that? I took my classes sometimes were at 7:30 when I was going to school. Oh my gosh, it was crazy. Everybody was snoring. It was crazy. Anyway, it is an early class, though. It's early for me these days, and I'm a morning person. So feel free to bring your coffee or your energy drink with you. I know we all need it. We really do. The only thing is they have some real strict policies about drink and food in here. So as long as it's something that you can cover and that you're not going to be knocking it over, that's all that I'm worried about. But otherwise, bring your coffee, please. We all need it. But I want you to attend. That's really the most important thing about succeeding in this class, is being here to hear the lectures, being here working so that I can help you if you get stuck on something. So I just really want to emphasize how important it is to attend the class, and also being on time. So I'm going to allow 5 absences for if you get sick, if you have a family emergency. Just let me know ahead of time. I know some things happen, like if you had a flat on the way to school, that can't be avoided. You can't see that ahead of time, but just let me know after the fact why you were gone. That way, I won't worry about you, because if I hear nothing, and then it's like 3 or 4 class periods go by and I don't hear anything from you, I get worried about it. So anyway, you can have those 5. Now, if any of you are on a team with Texas Tech, I had a softball player in here one time, and she did a lot of traveling. So we made special arrangements so that she would be able to fulfill her tech team duties and still succeed in the class. So if that's your case, let me know and we'll work it out. And so I also include in the attendance in staying until we're dismissed. We probably won't take the whole 2.5 hours very often. You're welcome to, but it's pretty rare that I'm going to lecture and give you anything that's going to take you longer than that to do. Okay. Journal entries. You're going to be required to do a journal entry every week. This is going to be on Blackboard, so you'll just need to go to Blackboard and just write a couple of paragraphs about how the class was this week, if you understood it, if you're having trouble, or if you really like it, and if something really big is going on in your life, like someone's letting the air out of my tires every morning, so I may be late a few mornings. Let me know those kind of things too. And if it's something that's serious, and you write it, I may talk to you about it. But, otherwise, I'm going to keep my nose out of it. I'm just going to keep my nose out. Okay, then we're going to have lab exercises, and we're going to do those in class. And then at the end, I've got a little list over here. I'm just going to give you a check so that I know to give you the points for that lab. And the lab points are going to be about, I think they're like 15 points for every lab. So they're not very many points, but it adds up. So be sure and be here, because not only will you be dinged for not being here very much, you would also be losing a whole bunch of the lab grades. Now, as far as, oops, don't do that. I'm going to get closer here so I can see what I'm talking about. And we're also going to have some projects. There we go. Okay, so the attendance and participation is just basically paying attention, asking a question if you've got it. You don't have to be a chatterbox, and who wants to be a chatterbox this time of morning? So that's 125 points. Now, that's not something that's going to be accruing in the grade book on Blackboard. That's something that you and I will both know. If you want to ask how many absences, let me know and I'll tell you. The journal is 125 points, and those are, I'm blanking out. It's too early in the morning. I think those are like 15 points a piece too. And that's just basically a self-evaluation. The lab exercises are going to add up to 375 points. So that's a chunk. That is a chunk. So be sure to be here to do those exercises so you can get those points. And then projects, we're going to have several projects. That is also worth 375 points. It's basically a 1,000-point system that you get points for the different things you do, and it adds all the way up to 1,000. And I'm really kind of liberal with giving you more points if you do something really spectacular. So you will probably not have any trouble getting up to the 1,000. Now, the projects, we're going to do a brand yourself project where that you come up with a kind of a saying or a slogan or a mindset of what your brand is, like I can't even talk this morning, but anyway, and do a logo, and then you're going to do business cards and letterheads and all those things. Basically, what I was thinking about when I came up with this project was for you to sell yourself to future employers so that you can have a business card to leave after an interview or something like that. But there are entrepreneurs in this building. So if you are one of those people who have started a business or plan to start a business or plan to join a family business, you can also brand that. So you just have to decide at that time. Okay, the next one is a CASP project. Charles Adams Studio Project is what that stands for. Have any of you heard of the Charles Adams Gallery? Have you ever gone to the First Friday art thing? Well, he's one of the big players in the First Friday area. He's right across the street from the Louise Hopkins Center. So anyway, they've got this thing where that they occasionally let people come in and do some screen printing. And I haven't got all of the details yet. I'm still working it out, but keep your fingers crossed that we'll be able to do that because that'll be super fun. And I think you'll really enjoy it. And you'll learn a lot too. You'll learn a lot about the process. And then I have another project that's new for this semester because I'm in the middle of this myself. I'm going to have you plan your 10-year high school reunion. And it sounds like, oh, that's not much of anything. But believe me, I am doing it. Mine is such a small school that it's an all school reunion. It's everybody. It's not just my graduating class. It's everybody who can still walk in the door who graduated from my high school is invited. So anyway, it's a handful. And I just want you to kind of stretch your wings and see how to incorporate advertising into that sort of thing and kind of putting a whole event together. Okay. Then the last one is a book. And I didn't put children's book on there because maybe I should open it up a little bit, but I want you to design a little book. And it would my preference is that it would be a children's book, very little text and a lot of graphics. So if you feel really super creative and you've got a story in mind already, fantastic. You can absolutely use that. If you are in this classroom because it's one of those boxes you have to check off so that you can graduate, I have illustrations and text that you can use, and you'll just need to lay it out. I'm just going to leave it open for you guys so that if you do have some creativity that you want to get out, you'll be able to do that. Or if you just want to do what a graphic artist would do, because most graphic artists with the children book, whenever you would lay it out, you would most likely get the illustrations and get the text and put it together. So that's really the bottom line of this particular project. Okay, so now to the next thing. Okay, extra credit and research participation. Anyway, you all know about SONA, whatever they call it. It's some research that's conducted. And if you want to do that, you can sign up and contact that person there. That you can go to that website and take care of that. So I've added some on for this class. Now the rest of them are all me. Have any of you ever heard of the Advertising Federation? American Advertising Federation? Okay, TAF is the student organization that is connected with it. So I belong to the American Advertising Federation, AAF. They're the ones who do the Addies every year, which is coming up in February. So we have luncheons every month. It's currently being held at Stella's. I don't know if y'all are familiar with Stella's, but it's really great. But anyway, if you want to go, let me know and I'll make it happen. And if you go, you can not only hear some spectacular speakers, but you can also do a lot of networking. You can maybe meet your future boss there. I mean, there are a lot of people who do hiring for internships and for full-time there. So it's really a great opportunity. Now, it starts at 11:45 on the fourth Thursday of the month. Lunch costs $15. And so since they are doing that kind of thing, you'll need to let me know by about the Tuesday before the Thursday so that I can let them know. And if you can pay the $15, that's great. If that's the only thing keeping you from going, let me know and we'll work something out. So 50 points if you go. And I also want you to submit a written, like a paragraph about your impression of the luncheon meeting and who spoke and that sort of thing. Nothing big, nothing, just enough to remind me who went. All right, then this last one, well, actually the exit survey is one also, but the last big one is an Adobe Max 2024 session. Adobe Max is the people who make the software that we're learning. So they have a big conference every October, and that's when they make their big changes. They roll out new changes in their software. And last October was a really big one. So the software changed immensely. They do a lot of sessions. A lot of the leaders of the industry talk about whatever their particular specialty is, and it lasts like 3 days. And there's probably 15, 20, 30 sessions every day. So a person going there can't see everything, but they put it online so you can go back and watch it. So this extra credit is for you to go to the Adobe Max 2024 sessions, and I've given you that should have a hot link in it, so that you can go and pick a session that is of interest to you. I'm not going to tell you that it has to be about the software in here. It doesn't have to be about branding. If you're interested more in something else that Adobe offers, you can watch it. I just want you to be interested in what you're watching. And if you write a synopsis of what you learned in that particular session, just about a paragraph, you can have 50 more points. If you do both of those, that's an entire letter grade. Just saying. Okay. So let's go to the next part. I just gave you a calendar of the important dates in case you need to know any of those things. And then on to the actual schedule. I have laid this out more like a calendar. So you've got January through May. So on Sundays, things are going to be due. And so I thought that would be easier because sometimes whenever I just have a list of the classes and stuff like that, I get kind of lost. And sometimes I get the wrong dates on it. This way, I'm not putting dates on it. You can just look at the calendar and see it. And I want you to tell me if you like this better once you've used it for a while or not, because it's a little more trouble doing it this way. But I like it much better. I think it's much more user friendly. So I'm not going to really go through this very much. You have a holiday on Monday, so it doesn't affect this class, but hallelujah, a 3-day weekend right out of the box. The thing that's going to be due this Sunday is it's a journal entry. That's how I'm going to grade it, but it's getting to know you. There's some questions I want you to, I just want to know about you. And so there's some questions that you can answer in it. If you want to tell me more, great. If you don't want to tell me more, great. So that's that. And I believe that's about all in the syllabus that I wanted to talk about.